All right, what's up, guys? I am going to be showing you how to use this information to format and input all the data in a Google Sheets document. Everything that I cover in this video, all the tricks and tools will be necessary for your success in the Google Sheets project. So everything that I cover will set you guys up for success. So make sure that you are following along and paying attention. So this data page right here is in Google Classroom. You should have this up in one tab. So it's the Sheets example data page. Has all the data you need to work through this tutorial. So you're gonna follow along with me as I do this. Okay, so open this up in one tab and then open a new tab and go to sheets.google.com. And then you are going to choose a blank tab. Notice here, though, how they have a bunch of other templates to choose from. They even have calendars and whatnot. So Sheets is really awesome, and they have a variety of tools within Sheets that can help you guys organize your lives and get things on track and whatnot. So I and my wife and I use a monthly budget, which is super helpful, and it tracks all of our spending and expenditures and whatnot. The calendars are awesome. There's a bunch more in the templates, so check those out on your own time. But for this one, we're just going to do a blank document. And we are going to be inputting and analyzing data from this 1992 Dream Team. This was the basketball team put together for the United States Olympic team in 1992 in Barcelona, Spain. It's widely considered one of the best basketball players or basketball teams to ever share the hardwood together. So that's why I chose to do this one. Okay, so all of our information's here. And we are simply just going to start inputting these things. You do not need to type each individual piece in here. I'm making this easy on you. You can just copy and paste it. Okay, so I'm going to go in here, and first I'm just going to set up my titles for my columns. Okay, so columns are vertical, rows are crossed. Okay, so we have name, jersey number, height, weight, and salary. So first I'm just going to double click in here and say name. I'm going to go to B1 and say, I think it was jersey number. I'm going to go height. And then I'm going to go weight. And then I'm going to go salary. Okay, so I have all my column headings, my titles. Okay, and notice if I hover between A and B, I can change the spacing. Okay, so jersey number is a little bit crammed in there, so I'm going to uncram it a little bit. Okay, so you can change the spacing of those. And to make these look more like titles of and headings of columns, I'm going to do some things. Okay, so I'm just going to click from name over, see how they turn blue, and highlight those. And so whatever I do now is going to affect all of the cells that are highlighted. Okay, so I'm going to bold them. Okay, so that makes it look better. I'm also going to put them in the center. So I'm going to go to this little alignment button and put them in the center. I can also change, what I like to do is change the background fill color. Okay, with these, don't use something super neon and crazy that's distracting. Okay, use something that's just kind of like easy on the eyes. I usually use like a gray. You can even use like some of these lighter greens, these little fainter ones, these fainter blues. Just don't use like this bright green right here. That's doing a lot. So I'm going to use this gray right here. Okay, and that looks a lot better. Okay, so those are my column titles. And now I'm going to input all of my data. So I'm going to go here to my example data page. And all I need to do is just click and highlight those. I'm going to press Control C, which is copy. And then this part, you need to do exactly how I do it. You need to click once into A2 and then press Control V. Okay, that puts them all into individual cells. I'm going to press Control Z to undo that. Now watch, if I click twice in there and my cursor's flashing in there and I press Control V, it puts them all into that single cell. We do not want that. We want each name in an individual cell. Okay, so click once in there. Your cursor should not be flashing in there. Press Control V, and there they are. Okay, now a jersey number, I'm going to do the same thing. Control C, go in here, click once, Control V, go into weight, Control C. Wait, was that weight? That was height. Height, Control V. Good. Now I'm going to go to weight, Control C. Go to height, Control V. Salary, C. And and salary, Control V. Okay, so if we're looking at our column titles right now, what doesn't make sense with the height and weight? Yes, you are right. We don't know what this is. 78 feet, 78 centimeters, what is that? So we need to clarify what we're talking about. And I'm going to put in parentheses inches. Okay, and then in weight, I'm going to put LBS for pounds. Okay, I don't know why LBS stands for pounds. Don't ask me. Okay, sweet. And then see how these are kind of crammed in there? I'm going to space that out to give them a little bit more room to breathe, the names. Okay. And then I also want these centered. Okay, so I want these centered. So I'm going to drag a box over all of those, and I'm going to center those into their boxes, which makes it look more clean, nice, and appealing to the eye. That is a common theme here. Okay, let's talk about this number right here. This is their salary, which is talking about money. Okay, but instead of going in, these numbers look weird, like all those zeros. I can't tell, is that 400,000? Is that 4 million? What is that? We can put zeros in there after every third digit, or we can just tell Google Sheets that everything in the E column is money. So I'm just going to click on E, and that highlights everything in E. And then I'm going to go to Format, and I'm going to go to Number, and I'm going to tell it that it is currency. Boom. Okay. So now that formatted it for me. But these cents are kind of irrelevant. We don't need to know that there's 0 cents on top of 4 million. So I'm going to click on that again. And then I'm going to use these decrease decimal buttons right here to decrease the decimals so that it looks more clean. Okay. I want you guys to do that as well. Okay. Also, just title your spreadsheet, spreadsheet example. That works. Okay, so now that we have all of that information, I want to do some things with functions. Okay, I want to analyze these different numbers. Okay, because this all looks fine and dandy, but what can we infer from these numbers? What are some functions we can use to help us infer from this data? Okay, so these functions that we are going to input are basically ways that to input equations that are automatic, that do calculations for us, that tell us things. So what would be some interesting things to know? Well, it'd be interesting to know I'm going to double click in there, average height of them. Look, that's crammed, so I'm going to space it out. You should do the same. It would be interesting to know the average weight of them. Those are crammed in there. That looks weird. I'm going to space it out a little bit. And it would be interesting to know the average salary. Okay, so I'm going to do all those, but I want to format these cells the same way I formatted these cells. Okay, so an easy way to do that, you can definitely go in and just apply the same buttons that you did. Or what is cool is this little paint roller right here. If you click on a cell, so I'm just going to click on this one. You can click on any of these ones in the heading. If you click on that one and then press this paint roller, it copies that format. And then if I click in here, Shaduska, it gives me that exact same format in the one that I pasted it to. It's basically a copy paste of format. So I'm going to click on this one. I'm going to copy it, paste it. Click on this one, copy it, paste it. Sweet. Okay, so that's kind of a hack to do it quicker. You can do it the other way by just selecting the same buttons as you did, but that way's quicker. Okay. So now that I have those new headings, I want to get the numbers. So to get the average height, I could add all these together with a calculator and divide by 5. But what is much easier is to use the function that Google Sheets gives us, the function tool. Okay, because if I have 300 pieces of data in here, I'm not going to use a calculator to go through and do that. I'm just going to tell Google Sheets to do it. So the functions button is this one right here that looks like it's called a sigma sign. It kind of looks like a backwards 3. Okay, so I'm going to click on that and I'm going to say average because I'm talking about the average. Okay, now it's saying, okay, I'm going to get the average. Tell me which ones you want. Okay, so I'm going to click on the first one, 78. Then I'm going to hold shift and click on the last one, 84. Notice how it said, oh, you want the average from C2. C2 is C2 all the way to C6, C6. And now when I press enter, Shaduska gives me 80.4. Sweet. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing for weight. I'm going to get the average weight. I'm going to click in this cell. I'm going to go to functions, average, click on the first one, hold shift, click on the second one, or the bottom one, press enter, average weight. Same thing for salary. Sorry, click in here, function, average, click the top one, hold shift, click the bottom one, enter. Sweet. What don't we like about these numbers? Well, they are not centered. Everything else is centered, so I need to be consistent. I'm going to center those guys. Okay. I already put inches up here, so I know that everything in this column is inches. Everything in this column is pounds, so I don't need to put pounds and inches right there. Okay, sweet. So that looks good. Okay, I want to show you one other function. Okay, so that was the average function. Another function we can use is the sum function. The sum function is the basically the sum of numbers. So it would be weird to use the sum function for weight because that doesn't really tell us anything. It'd be weird to use the sum function for height, and definitely weird to even use the average function or the sum function for jersey number. Like, that does not make any sense to do that. I've seen students do that. So don't average the jersey number. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is use the sum function for salary. I'm going to say total money given to starters. Okay, that's crammed in there, so I'm going to space that out. I'm going to copy that format and paste it in that cell. I'm going to go into this cell right here. I am in E10, it looks like. I'm going to use the function button. I'm going to say sum, and it's saying, okay, I'll take the sum of whatever you tell me. I click the top one, hold shift, click the bottom one. It populates it for me, press enter, and Shaduska. We have 14,520,000. If you add all these up, you will get that number. Okay, I'm going to center that, keep it consistent. Okay, so that is looking good. And if you want, you can change like these colors. I don't care if you change those to kind of make them stand out to like these fainter greens, okay, just to kind of show that they're different, and maybe that one should be different as well. We'll do like this faint blue. Okay, so that looks fine. I think that that looks pleasing to the eye. Again, it's not like neon and crazy. Okay, so that is basically it for entering the data and using the functions. Okay, one thing that I like to do that makes them look clean also is to put boxes around the cells. Okay, so I'm going to highlight the cells that I want. Okay, I'm just going to highlight these top ones, and you'll see why. Okay, and then I'm going to go to these borders. Okay, and I'm going to do this border. Notice how you can choose where you want the bolded border to be. Okay, so I'm going to choose that one, and it grids all of those. Okay, I'm also can grid those ones, so I'm going to grid those ones. Okay, and then these ones can grid, and then those ones can grid as well. Okay, so that looks even better. Now we're looking like we have a nice organized spreadsheet of data where we can see some interesting things. Okay, so the last thing I want to show you is how to insert charts, because some of us are visual learners. We could look at a table full of data and not know anything and be confused, whereas if we can look at a chart or a pie graph or a bar chart or something, it's much more helpful. Okay, so this is really cool that that something that Google Sheets does for us. We just have to tell it what to do, once again. Okay, so I want a chart that shows the name as well as their relative height. So I'm going to click name and drag it down. Okay, so name and drag it down so it's getting the title and all the names. And then I'm going to hold control, and I'm going to click on height and drag it down. Okay, now notice I have name highlighted and all of the height highlighted. Now I want to insert a graph or a bar chart or a bar graph or a pie chart or something. So I go over here to my buttons, my formula bar, and it says insert chart. I'm going to click on that guy. It'll take a second, and it inserts a chart. Okay, notice how it has all the numbers. Okay, it has all the names because I had it include the names. Okay, so there is my chart there. Okay, but that is very basic of a chart right there. This little chart editor allows you to customize this chart however you want, and I expect you guys to customize these as much as possible. I've had some pretty awesome customizations done by previous students. Okay, so if you don't have the chart editor up, all you have to do is double click on the chart and it'll pull up the chart editor. Okay, it looks like they have some new chart editing tools that I'm not familiar with, but we'll see. Okay, so you can change the chart type. You can change it to a pie graph, pie chart. You can change it to different like histograms and stuff like that. I'm just going to keep this one as a bar graph. Okay, And then you can change, like I said, you can change the names on the x-axis, you can change the titles, you can change a lot of the different things. The customized part, you can change, you can make it 3D, which I think looks a lot better. Okay, I'm not sure why this one is showing up a darker blue. But you can change background colors. Again, stray away from making it super bright and crazy. You can change the font styles. Okay. You can change a lot of the axis titles and even the chart titles. So I'm going to go into chart title and title it player. Whoops, that does not spell player. Player verse what I do, height. Okay, and then it updates it up there. Okay, so I'm not going to show you guys everything, but I want you guys to work through these and make these charts. Oh, nice. It didn't turn dark blue anymore. Make these charts nice and customized. Okay, I'm going to do one more. I'm going to highlight name. I'm going to hold control, and I'm going to do salary. And then I'm going to click on insert chart. It inserts another super basic chart. Okay. I'm going to change it to, let's do a pie graph this time, and it shows me which person has the percent of which total salary. Okay, so Michael Jordan, let's see, Michael Jordan has the highest percentage, so 4 million, which is 27.5% of all of them. Okay, so you guys don't have to do a pie chart. You can do whatever's appropriate. Okay, I should probably stay consistent with this and change the background color to the similar gray that I had. Is that the same gray? Nope, that's a lighter gray. That one should be it. Good. And then I can do a chart title on that one again. Okay, if I wanted to do that, I would say player versus salary. Okay, and then I can go in and do some different editing within there. Okay, there's all sorts of customizations you can do within there. Okay, notice how my charts are the same size. I don't have one, like this would look weird, right? Especially if it was like in the middle or something, or like if it was like just floating over there and this one was just like that. Okay, that looks weird. Okay, we like it nice and pleasing to the eye. Okay, that is a consistent theme with what we are doing in these projects. Okay, we want it always to look pleasing and the aesthetic to be solid. Okay, so that is pretty much it. Everything that I just showed you guys will set you up for success on the Google Sheets project. Okay, so if you are done, everyone is going to get through this video at different times. Start looking at the Google Sheets instructions and start thinking of some data that you want to analyze. Do something that is interesting to you so that this project is interesting for you. If you hate Monster Energy drinks and you choose to do Monster Energy drinks, you're not going to have very much fun doing it. Whereas if you love Mario Kart and you want to analyze some Mario Kart stuff, you're going to have a lot of fun analyzing the different karts and the different speeds and whatnot. Okay, so make sure you do something that is interesting. As always, ask your neighbor if you need help. Peace.